Hey YouTube, this is me coming to you from the future because I'm a little behind on editing. In the last video, we had my engine on the stand ready to go in, or so I thought, but before we put the engine in, I realized that neither I nor my machine shop had actually gapped my piston rings. So I decided to take everything back apart and get those piston rings gapped. This first chapter of the video is going to be a bit of engine building ASMR as I reinstall the pistons with these freshly gapped rings. Okay, youtube.com, check it out. My engine is taken apart. We love it. And here's my pistons. And I've gapped all of my rings. So now they should be to the spec that I want. I'm doing 0.43 millimeter gap for the first rings, 0.53 gap for the second rings, and then for the final rings I just made sure they were at least 0.38 millimeters, and they were a bit above that. So now I'm just going to I guess flip this guy over. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to give everything a little wipe down. You can see a little tiny hair there, not acceptable. I think I see one here as well. Give everything a quick wipe, and then I'm going to put assembly lube here, down there, there, and there. With it lubed up, we're gonna flip it back over, put the, well, I'll show you when I get there. Look at that, looks so yummy. Looks like a strawberry jam or something. Nice, there we go, nice and lubed up. We're using the Permatex Ultra Slick, the red stuff. Okay, with two of them lubed up, we can just spin it around, and it spins very nice and smoothly. You can see a little bit of jam left on there from last time. This piston will go this orientation, and we got a ring gap here, we got a gap here for number 2, we got a gap here, we got a gap here, and they line up. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, because people say you should space them out as they're way down. Also, we've got the little feet on the piston, so we're going to go ahead and get our compression tool deal over here. Alright, so now we got this in here. You can see the one in the same orientation I had it before. And if we come under here, you can see the little legs coming around the silver part there. So, should be able to just push her down. Ooh. We're flush. And just like that, we got a second one in. That's 2 out of 4. And I have the little caps on. Cap. And they're not torqued down yet. We'll do that after we flip it over. There we go. Okay. Let's get those at the very bottom down there. At this point, it looks like I skipped some recording, but of course I put the piston rod caps on all 4 of them and torqued them down and did it in like sequence and everything. Welcome to chapter 2 of this video. So we got the piston rings installed, we got the engine put back together, and I sort of didn't really record me putting the engine back into the car, but like here's a slideshow of pictures I took. Yeah, so now this next chapter is called Why Won't My Car Start? Check it out. We got the hood on and the bumper. More importantly, the beautiful wheels, and it's on the floor, and the engine is in there. That's important too. New radiator. Just finished bleeding the brakes and the clutch. The clutch was horrible, so we're going to start the car. I'm not going to bore you with all the specifics of the break-in procedure. We have conventional oil. We're going to first start the car, then spin the steering wheel left and right in order to bleed the powered steering. Then we're going to use the timing gun to set the timing using the CAS over here. And then what are we going to do? We're going to wait for it to warm up and for the coolant to be bled and have no more bubbles. Then we'll put the lid on the coolant and back it out of the driveway for the first time. Okay, so my battery is too dead to start the car, so we'll try again tomorrow. I have it plugged in. I think I have some sort of electrical issue where I'm like draining battery over time, and this was happening before I rebuilt the motor. I turned the key, it's cranking, it wasn't starting. We were getting spark. I used the timing gun to see the spark was reaching all four. I even pulled spark plugs out and we could see them zapping. And with a spark plug out, I could smell fuel coming out of each cylinder, so I'm pretty sure we were also getting fuel. So the only other questions, air, and I'm pretty sure I had air. The tube was on earlier, I promise. But timing and compression. And so one day we got ourselves a compression kit, and we forgot to return it like as a rental tool. So now it's ours. So I had it on hand. I got 0, and then I did number 3 as well and got 0. And I'm sure that if I did all 4, they'd be 0s. It just means we're not getting a full seal in the cylinder. Either piston rings are letting air pass, or valves are letting air pass because they're not closed when they're supposed to be. So to test that, poured some oil down a couple cylinders, cranked it, still 0 compression. This would seal the piston rings, so that if we still have no compression, which we do, it must be valves, which mean we must have a timing problem. So I've stripped everything down so that we can see the timing belt. And now I gotta remember how it's supposed to be lined up, and yep. So yeah, it's pretty obviously wrong. So first, we can see here, this cam, which is actually the exhaust cam, is lined up with the tick mark. This cam looks like it's about a tooth off. But if we look down here, you can see that triangle does not line up with that groove. So yeah, maybe this is where we skipped. Maybe if I spin the whole thing, both of these will line up with each other. But anyways, alright, so kind of didn't record any of this, but I took this plastic piece off, among other parts, and got the belt off, readjusted the cams. The trick is you take your 2 adjustable wrenches, put them on the both sides, and you vice grip them together. So I think this looks better. You can see this one looks good here, and this one looks good here. Okay, everything is patched back up, and I even put this little bracket up here for my spark plug cables to be organized, and we're ready to try starting it, see if it goes any differently. Alright YouTube, I have 3 ideas why I'm not getting compression. So I tried putting oil down one of the cylinders, running the compression test again, still read actually like absolute 0. So it means it's probably not a piston ring problem, it's probably a valve problem. The valves probably aren't making a seal, or they aren't making a seal when they're supposed to be. So 3 things I'm going to check. 1, I'm going to take the valve cover off and make sure that the top cam lobes are pointing out from each other when the cylinder number 1 is at top dead center, because that's how it's supposed to be lined up on this car. Number 2, the lifter buckets, there's this little plunger piece on the inside that you can put it either way. And I had taken apart the lifter buckets previously and cleaned them out. And there's a chance that I put the plungers in upside down, and that would apparently cause the valves to not make compression, not make a full seal. Number 3, the valve seals, valve stem seals. I thought that the shop did them for me and took out the old ones and replaced them, but then I remember that they had sent me home with a bag of valve stem seals, and I assumed they were my old ones that they took out because they sent me my old valves and my old, I don't know. Here's the bag they sent me. It's actually a sealed bag. So obviously, why would they have sent me a brand new set of valve stem seals if, yeah. All right, check this out. You can see what this seal looks like. You see this little silver band at the top. And if we look right here, there it is. We totally have valve stem seals installed already. And that's not our problem. Okay, here's our answer. This lifter, we take this guy out of it. You can see this little butt sticking out of it, this little thing. And this piece, my fingers, comes apart one more time. And the inner piece, this butt, is supposed to face the other way. I'll put a picture on the screen that explains it. Okay, so my lifters were assembled incorrectly, and now we've taken them all back apart and rebuilt all of them, and I'm gonna have another video out that'll tell you the correct way to assemble them and to clean them. And this might be something you want to do just to fix your lifter tick. It's just the only issue is you will have to redo your timing belt, which is kind of a pain, but I don't know, might be worth it. And now that these are all back in place, it's time to put the cams back on, put the belts, everything, put it all back on and see if the car starts. Yay. Everything's put back together. The lifters have been rebuilt. Now we just have to hook up the timing belt again, and we might have to charge the battery, but yeah. Alright, so we're running. You can see, but now I can't seem to get into gear. Pump it. It's not different. So I would start my car, it wouldn't get in gear. It seems like my clutch wasn't disengaging. So I replaced this guy, replaced this line. Now the entire line is this one stainless part. The whole length, it's a little too long, but it's fine. Of course, I replaced, you know, the one down there. And we even took the transmission out of the car to see if something stupid happened, like the clutch was backwards. Turns out none of those things were helpful. The real issue was the clutch pedal. There's the rod thingy that need to be adjusted. There's a couple of nuts and bolts that you gotta adjust, and I'll leave a link to the PDF from FlyinMiata. Basically, if you have an aftermarket clutch, you might need to do this if you get a clutch built for more power than the OEM clutch. After all that, I got to drive this yellow car for 150 miles. It was awesome, maybe 130 miles. And then I noticed a coolant leak. I was leaking some coolant, dribbling, and so I thought, oh, maybe the intake gasket is backwards, and that would block this hole and leave that hole open. Or I don't know. But no, the gasket was on correctly. But in doing it, in reinstalling the intake manifold, check it out. I snapped this bolt. So we're now removing the head to take it to the machine shop because I don't want to screw around with drilling it and making it worse than it is. I'll just let them take the bolt out. And then we'll see you in the next episode once we get it back. For anyone who is still watching, thank you for making it to the end. This video took, 8 months in the making to get my car running for the first time and then immediately to break it again. It's been an emotional roller coaster, and I've, the clips in this video, some of them are like weeks or months apart because I would just spend so much time not sure what's going wrong, especially trying to get the clutch to disengage at the end there. Anyways, so next episode, hopefully I'll be able to actually get some miles in. I'll maybe wash the car, etc. See you then. Thanks for watching.